Guys, we are closing in on 8,000 subscribers here on the channel. As you see right there, we only need 26 new subscribers off today's video. The Vikings play the Colts tomorrow at noon. My goal is to hit 8K for our man Kirk Cousins, who wears number 8, before the game tomorrow versus the Colts. If you guys haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe button. Great way to help support me and just to help support Chat Sports. Welcome into Vikings Now. I am your host, Patrick Seatman. We got a loaded show for you guys today. As you guys see by title, benching Dalvin Cook, a little tidbit into what's coming on later on today's show. But we got a ton of news and rumors to get through on today's show today. We're going to be first starting off with the Vikings Colts, the final injury report on both teams. They do play tomorrow at noon, like I said, and we will be live for that game on the channel, so make sure you guys tune in. But number 2, you see that right there, benching Dalvin Cook. I know a lot of you guys may be a little taken aback by that, but I'm going to be kind of explaining my thoughts shortly. And then number 3, Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the NFL. He's already at 1,500 yards on the season. He will be approaching to break Megatron's record. But first, let's dive into the Vikings injury report here. Before we get into the rest of today's video, we're just going to hop into it. Because like I said, this is a big game for the Vikings and a big game for the Colts here. But the Vikings, they had a couple guys that are questionable, and some key names such as Cam Dantzler, Harrison Phillips, Garrett Bradbury, Danielle Hunter, and Patrick Jones. Cam Dantzler and Patrick Jones are dealing with that illness that's been floated around in the Vikings locker room as of late. But Harrison Phillips and Garrett Bradbury dealing with that back. It's not a good sign to me, and especially Danielle Hunter, who we need to be at 100%. He's dealing with that neck injury. But a name you don't see on there, Christian Darrisaw. He is going to be back after missing the last 2 games. He had the concussions. He actually had 2 concussions in 5 days. He got concussed against the Dallas Cowboys, and then that following game, he got concussed on that Thursday night against the New England Patriots. So we're going to have him back. And as you see, Alec Lewis, he did a great job of breaking it down, how the Vikings offense is with Darrisaw on the field and without. It's kind of jumbled up here. I'll break it down. But rushing the football, Vikings averaged nearly 4.67 yards per rush with him on the field, and only 2.8 yards per carry with him out or with him off the field. It's a pretty, I don't know, that's a night and day stat right there. And then he, before contact, so like before the running back gets hit the first time, with Darrisaw on the field, it's 1.3 yards per carry. With him off the field, it is 0.71 yards per carry. And then that big number right there, 21% of runs for 0 or negative yards. That is with him on the field. With him off the field, it jumps up to 37.5. So clearly Christian Darrisaw, he has a huge impact on the Vikings, especially running the football. And we'll get into more about the Vikings running the football later on today's show. Quick shout out to the Colts injury report here. They got a DB out, Brandon Feishin, with an illness, or he's doubtful. And then Kenny Moore. He's a pretty notable corner for the Colts. He's out with an ankle. And then Mike Strachan, he has a concussion, and he'll be out this Saturday against the Vikings too. But I want you guys to get down in the comments, predict the score of the game on Saturday. It's going to be a big one. The Vikings right now are only favored by 3.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. I want to know what you guys have to say. Get down in the comments, predict the score of today's game. It'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. I'm going to go a little off the top right now. I'll go 31-23 Vikes. So now a lot of you guys probably clicked on today's video looking at this. Benching Dalvin Cook. I know when you guys kind of hear it right away, you're like, what is this guy talking about? Benching Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's supposed to be one of the best running backs in the league. Why would the Vikings ever bench Dalvin Cook? But if we're looking at his last 4 games here, and especially that Detroit game where he really struggled, he had 15 carries for 23 yards at about $1.50 yards per carry. Then against the Jets, he was 20 carries for 86 yards. Against the Patriots, struggled again, 22 carries for 42 yards. And against Dallas in that blowout game, he was 11 carries for 72 yards. And PFF actually ranks the Vikings offensive line as the second best run blocking offensive line in the entire NFL. So it's kind of concerning that the Vikings haven't been able to run the ball consistently throughout this football season. But looking at what Dalvin Cook's done throughout the whole 2022 season, 213 carries, 950 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry. But I do think those numbers are skewed a little bit because he had that 53-yard touchdown versus the Miami Dolphins. And he also had that 81-yard touchdown against the Buffalo Bills. So obviously you want those big breakout plays, but I'm talking about more the consistent running of Dalvin Cook's where he really has struggled. And if you're looking at the Vikings depth chart right now, Alexander Mattison, Kene Nwangwu, and Ty Chandler, frankly, are too talented to not be getting the football more, especially with Dalvin Cook struggling. And we always say Dalvin Cook in colder games, he does struggle, and that's what we're kind of approaching here right now. It's going to be December, January, hopefully February football for this Minnesota Vikings team. I would almost lean towards Alexander Mattison, who has only gotten 10 carries over the past 4 games. Frankly, that Madison's only getting 10 carries in the last 4 games is shocking to me. I think Alexander Mattison, he needs to be getting the football a lot more. Because Madison, 10 carries in the past 4 games, I just think that's not a recipe for success, especially if you got guys like Kene Nwangwu behind him and Ty Chandler. I would get Alexander Mattison the ball a lot more because 10 carries in the last 4 games, that's just not enough, especially with Dalvin Cook struggling the way he is. I would like to see the Vikings get the ball to Madison a lot more, especially in these colder weather games where Madison's more of that bruiser. He's more of that thunder to the Dalvin Cook being the lightning. I want to see the Vikings get Madison the football and let him kind of get cooking a little more. I do want to tell you guys about today's sponsor. Today's Vikings Now show is brought to you by Fetch. Fetch is a super easy app to use, and it's a free app that lets you earn rewards on literally anything you buy. Scan any physical receipt or e-receipt, and you will earn points for your purchases. And the process only takes seconds. You don't have to worry about where the receipt is from or what's on it. So let me show you how simple it is. All you do is open up the Fetch app. Press the orange camera button and snap a photo of your receipt and then hit the submit button. And you'll see confetti popping, showing you that you have earned more reward points. It's a simple process. You can also click the e-receipt function to be rewarded for your Amazon purchases or other online shopping by syncing your email account. You can then redeem those points for gift cards at Amazon, Starbucks, or any of the 100 retailers and restaurants available. Fetch is available on Android or iPhone. Use our link, chatsports.com/Fetch, and enter promo code chat at sign up for 5,000 points when you scan your first receipt. That's equivalent of a free $5 gift card for you guys. It's a free app, and the 5,000 bonus points is only for a limited time, so get started now. Chatsports.com/Fetch and enter promo code chat. The link will be in the comments and the description of today's video. It's a holiday season. Everybody's trying to save a cent here or there. Go download Fetch, chatsports.com/Fetch. So back to Alexander Mattison. His career stats overall, obviously his yards per carry, you'd probably want that floating around 5, but I thought Madison's been great throughout his short tenure in the NFL with 380 carries, 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, and like I said, 4.1 yards per carry. I will say, the eye test, when it comes to benching Dalvin Cook, Cook doesn't jump off the screen like he used to. Like I always used to say this back in years past. When Dalvin Cook is healthy and he's maybe coming off a bye or the first couple weeks of the season, there's no other running back in the league that I would rather have than Dalvin Cook. But if you look at the way he's played as of recently, and if you look at the running backs that are behind Dalvin Cook, I would almost lean to getting guys like Madison, Ty Chandler, even Kene Nwangwu, our special team specialist, getting him more touches. So I ask you guys this. Do you want the Vikings to reduce Dalvin's carries? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'll be typing my Ys in the comments section just because I just think with the amount of talent the Vikings have behind Dalvin Cook and the way he's kind of played as of recently, I just don't think that this is the same Dalvin Cook that we've been getting. So I'll be typing my Ys in the comment section down below. I want to know what you guys have to say, though. Type Y for yes, N for no if you want the Vikings to reduce Dalvin Cook's carries. It's a pretty exciting segment we got coming up here. Can Jefferson catch Calvin Johnson's record of the most yards in a single season from a wide receiver? Cooper Kupp came close last year, but Jefferson, man, is he off to a good start on the season. He is leading the league in receiving yards so far with exactly 1,500 receiving yards on the dot. Tyreek Hill is at 1,460 receiving yards. Devontae Adams at 1,200. And Stephon Diggs is sitting at 1,200 as well. And then look at Travis Kelce. He gets it done every single year. He is at just over 1,000. But Jefferson leading the league in receiving yards. He's been phenomenal this year. But if we look back at that 2012 season for Calvin Johnson, he was unstoppable. I mean, this is also in only 16 games. Obviously, Jefferson will get that extra 17th game, but 1,964 yards. And the funniest thing here, only 5 touchdowns for Megatron when he had an unreal season. Only getting 5 touchdowns is pretty interesting, but Jefferson is at 1,500 yards right now. It will end up being around 113 yards per game for him to break it. But Jefferson in the last couple of seasons, we've really seen his catches per game go up. His rookie year, only at 5.5. His second year in the league, 6.4. And this season at 7.6. Honestly, I would still rather see that up at around 8, 9 catches a game, but he's been making the most of it. I mean, this season he's been fantastic. On 142 targets, 99 catches, 1,500 yards, already has 6 touchdowns. I think Justin Jefferson, I think he's going to have a great chance to beat Megatron's record. And a kind of cool tidbit from last week's game against the Lions where he popped off and he broke the Vikings single game receiving record. He gained 190 of his 223 yards against press coverage in Week 14. That is the most in a game since Julio Jones since Week 14 of 2016, where he actually had 254 yards against press coverage. But the most yards against press coverage since 2020, you got Justin Jefferson at around 1,900, Devontae Adams at 1,400, and Deontay Johnson at around 1,200. Don't go press coverage against this guy because he will cook you. But how does Jefferson break this record, and how does he really set history right now? Because I don't think just breaking Megatron's record is enough. I want Jefferson to go out and break that 2,000-yard receiving mark. Like I said, he's at 1,500 right now. He needs around 125 yards per game for over the last 4 games to break that record, and he will become the first ever 2,000-yard receiver in NFL history. I understand, hey, Jefferson, he has that extra game of week 7 or week 18 it would be, but I still think this would be incredibly impressive. He has carried this Vikings team throughout the season, and he's going to carry them to years to come. I think Jefferson, I think he's got a really good chance to do this. He needs to average, like I said, 125 yards per game over the last 4 games, and he will be the first ever 2K receiver in NFL history. I'll ask you guys, though, do you guys think Jefferson will hit 2,000 yards on the season? We'll do type 18, type Justin Jefferson's number if you think yes. If you don't think so, type 18 or 81 for Megatron for the nose down in the comments section. So let me know what you guys think down below. I do think he's got a good chance. It's going to come down to it, though. It's going to come down to it. It's going to be really close. I do think Jefferson has a good chance of making it. But let me know what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll talk to you guys next time. Let's go Vikes.